All right, folks, Yishai Fleischer here. Now, while it's true that the Trump administration started off in a funky way here in Israel when Steve Witkoff, Trump's special envoy to the Middle East, led Prime Minister Netanyahu into a very bad and very dangerous deal with Hamas that allows Hamas to exist and, in fact, to get stronger through the release of hundreds of super evil terrorists who have killed so many Jews. That was a mistake. Steve Witkoff started off on a bad foot with us here in Israel. But the future of the relationship between the Trump administration and Israel looks very promising to me. And that's because of at least two men, if not three, that we're going to watch right now in their Senate confirmation hearings, who are going to have a tremendous impact on the future of the United States and the future of the U.S.-Israel relationship and on the strength of Israel. Let's watch Marco Rubio, who is nominated to be the Secretary of State in his Senate confirmation hearings.
To Israel. In the last 4 years, this administration has been the most anti-Israel administration we have ever seen. They have systematically undermined the government of Israel, particularly at a time of war. The Biden State Department secretly asked other parts of the administration to suspend anti-terrorism sanctions so they could pour unaccountable hundreds of millions of dollars into the Hamas-controlled Gaza Strip.
Let me just make sure you understood what was said there, which is the Biden administration basically had to overcome all kinds of laws that stopped money from going towards Hamas. But they overcame those laws. They went around them so that they could fund and funnel money to the terrorists against U.S. laws. Okay, so that's what he meant by that.
They refused to implement mandatory congressional sanctions against Hamas terrorists for using human shields. They made incredible efforts to secretly circumvent mandatory congressional prohibitions on money going to the Palestinian Authority because of the PA's support for pay to slay. Even after October 7th, they secretly poured millions and even cash from American taxpayers into Hamas-controlled areas. Meanwhile, they secretly implemented boycotts of Jews living in Judea and Samaria through the Development Finance Corporation and binational science and technology foundations. They secretly manufactured files used to impose crippling financial sanctions on Israeli Jews and refused to provide those files to members of Congress. Those sanctions were renewed just yesterday. I have every confidence that President...
Okay, so sanctions against Jews living in Judea and Samaria, all kinds of fabricated accusations without any follow-through, without any deep research, basically fabricated accusations against Jews living in these parts that they're violent, and they were sanctioned by the United States. And this was, as Senator Ted Cruz just pointed out, was recently renewed. So that the efforts were against the Jews and with a messaging that Jews are the terrorists, while real terrorists were getting tons and tons of funding.
President Trump and you will reverse these policies broadly and specifically, but I'd like to ask you about some of them quickly. Can you commit to ending anti-terrorism sanctions waivers related to Palestinian terrorism and implementing sanctions against those terrorists?
Yes.
Can you commit to ending discriminatory policies, including Biden administration's secret boycott policies against Jews in Judea and Samaria?
Yes.
And can you commit to reversing the discriminatory sanctions against Jews living in Judea and Samaria?
Again, yes. I think that the policy of it, again, without speaking out of turn, I'm confident in saying that President Trump's administration will continue to be perhaps the most pro-Israel administration in American history.
Okay, so there's Marco Rubio basically saying, listen, the sanctions against the Jews of Judea and Samaria will be dropped. So that's one. And the non-sanctions against terrorists, jihadists that want to destroy Israel and America and the West more broadly and are against countries of freedom and want to take the whole world over with jihadism, they will be sanctioned as actually mandated by U.S. law. So there's Marco Rubio. Hopefully he will be confirmed to be Secretary of State of the United States. So that's very good. Let's watch the nominated Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, as he's sitting in front of a Senate confirmation hearing.
You are a Christian Zionist.
Somebody's yelling at him. Somebody's yelling at him that he's a Christian Zionist. Okay.
accused you of being a Christian Zionist. I'm not really sure why that is a bad thing. I'm a Christian. I'm a Zionist. Zionism is that the Jewish people deserve a homeland in the ancient Holy Land where they've lived since the dawn of history. Do you consider yourself a Christian Zionist?
Senator, I'm a Christian, and I robustly support the state of Israel and its existential defense, and the way America comes alongside them is a great ally.
Thank you. Because another protester, and I think this one was a member of Code Pink, which, by the way, is a Chinese Communist front group these days, said that you support Israel's war in Gaza. I support Israel's existential war in Gaza. I assume, like me and President Trump, you support that war as well, don't you?
Senator, I do. I support Israel destroying and killing every last member of Hamas.
And the third protester said something about 20 years of genocide. I assume that's our wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Do you think our troops are committing genocide in Iraq and Afghanistan?
Senator, I do not. I think our troops, as you know, as so many in this committee know, did the best they could with what they had. The outcomes, and tragically, the outcome we saw in Afghanistan under the Biden administration put a stain on that, but it doesn't put a stain on what those men and women did in uniform, as you know full well, Senator.
Okay, so what we have here is two men, Marco Rubio and Pete Hegseth. Both men say with clarity and veracity that they will support a strong Israel and will support the destruction of the jihad. Obviously, Governor Mike Huckabee is a great supporter of Israel, and he's going to be the U.S. ambassador to Israel. So we're looking forward to an administration that has a consciousness against jihad and for a strong Israel. The Steve Witkoff element here, where the bad deal was struck and terrorists are being released as I'm recording this, was a mistake. But we're going to have to overcome that mistake and continue to build a strong Israel that will push back on the bad guys. A bigger Israel means a safer Middle East. The suppression of jihad means more freedom for more people, more opportunity for this region to grow and to not be held back and retarded by these efforts to quash human freedom, human creativity, human freedom of choice, and freedom of religion. The jihad is a subversive energy in this world, and I'm hoping that the United States, under the leadership of President Trump and people like these two men that we just saw today at their Senate confirmation hearings, will be a better place with the help of God. B'ezrat Hashem, God, please give these men strength to lead the world in a better way. All right, friends, thank you so much for being part of the fight for Israel. And if you do love Israel and want to fight for it, then please join us at fightforisrael.org. We have so many projects there, like the Biblical Highway, like spreading Abrahamic faith, like restoration of Israeli holy sites, biblical holy sites, like tractors for the Holy Land. And of course, what we do here, which is broadcasting truth and courage and the faith in God. So God bless you. Please join us at fightforisrael.org. And if you love our broadcasting here, then please join us also at buymeacoffee.com/Yishai. You can, of course, write me an email, yishai@yishaifleischer.com. I'll try to get back to you. And our effort is to get that truth and get that strength out there. You give me strength wherever you are. Keep blessing Israel, and we will bless you back. B'ezrat Hashem, with the help of God. God bless you wherever you are. Stay tuned, stay strong, stay connected, and shalom.